we tend to develop mottos or mantras that we live by. And a very common one that maybe it might not be a motto for you, but it's probably something that you've thought to yourself before a few times in your life, is, I can't help myself. Now, what does this sentence actually mean? We say it when we felt so compelled to do something that it was almost like we had no self-control. I saw this delicious chocolate cake in front of me and I couldn't help myself. I had to have some. Or someone said something about my mother and I told them that they were a bastard. I was so angry, I couldn't help myself. So there's just two examples in two different contexts. What does the sentence actually mean? If you break it down, it means I have no control over my actions. I am powerless over my own actions, over my own thoughts, over who I am and how I respond to situations. I am disempowered. So it's a very disempowering statement. And for a lot of people who have addictive habits or self-destructive habits, that sentence can become their motto, their self-definition. I am a person who cannot help themselves in these situations. When a chocolate cake is in front of me, I just cannot help myself. When I get angry, I cannot help myself. I say things that I can't help. I was just so angry. I couldn't not say it. So the interesting thing about these beliefs that we have about ourselves, the more we repeat it to ourselves, the more we repeat these mottos, the more we become them. Even if it's a thought, you don't have to say it out loud. Even if it's this just kind of general sense of self or this general kind of experience, and it hasn't really been framed into words yet, specifically within yourself. The more we keep going there and bringing it into us and becoming it in that moment and believing it in that moment, the more we become it in all of our lives, all of ourselves. So the next time you think to yourself or you say you couldn't help yourself or something along those lines, or maybe it's some other motto that you have about yourself that doesn't actually support you, that just continues to disempower you and continues to hold you in a particular self-destructive pattern, or just a pattern that's not really good for you, question that. Ask yourself, is this really it? Can I really not help myself? Am I really going to participate in this thought again? Is this who I want to be? Maybe I can start practicing making a different choice. Maybe I can start practicing a different motto. And I mean, obviously, we're not going to change overnight. It's not like you're going to snap your fingers and suddenly it's not a part of you anymore. It takes time of repetition, because that's what it took to create that particular self-belief. It took a lot of time where you thought the same thought over and over and over and over again until you eventually believed it, until you became it. And that's exactly what it's going to take to undo it. But if we do these things with awareness, then maybe it's not going to take so much time. We can undo something that took 30 years to build and undo it in the space of 7 years, for example. Everyone's always looking for quick fixes. Sorry, there's no magic fix. So how do you deal with it? when the thought comes up, when that experience comes up, when you want to say the words, when you're about to do something where that thought or feeling or words are within you, I can't help myself, I have to, well, that's the moment where you stop. Or even before that would be better. Before you even go to that thought, recognize, okay, this is a situation where I tend to give up my self-will, give up my power, and do something that I would actually rather not do. So let me take a few deep breaths, slow myself down, and decide, who do I want to be? How do I want to address this situation? How do I want to move forward? And even if it takes a little bit of time, even if you do it slowly, take one step at a time and build a new path through that challenging moment. And sure, sometimes when we've been living something for long enough and it's become such a big part of us, it seems like it's impossible to change. It seems like, oh, well, this is just who I am now. All I can say to that is, it's not. You can change. It's up to you. And all it takes is for you to make a choice and live that choice every single moment. And living that choice means, with awareness, actively changing your thoughts, changing the words you speak, changing your actions. Instead of doing this thing that you always usually do, which leads to that consequence that you don't like, do something different. Easier said than done, sure, but the only way through is through. So, next time this all comes up, question it. Thank you very much for watching. You're going to see me next time.